It just dwarfs the battlefield. Absolutely dwarfs it. And you can see on the field there at the bottom, just all of the turbo lasers on each side, and then the big battle commencing in between. This is just absolutely incredible. There's just so much stuff. All the Gazantes landing, dropping off the AT-ATs. We got all of the starships in the distance, including the Lucra Hulk there. Just a massive, massive engagement occurring across the entire front. Hello guys, and welcome to a new WARNO video today by New Vulcan. In this one, I'm really excited to share with you an awesome 10 vs 10 replay on the Galactic Divide mod, which is bringing Star Wars to this awesome game WARNO. So we're off, as you can see, and today I'm going to be taking you through this insane 10v10. Honestly, if you haven't already, make sure to pause, get yourself a drink and whatever nice snack that you want, and sit back, relax and enjoy, because this is just the most incredible game I've had on this mod so far, and I'm really, really excited to share it with you guys today. So you can see early on, my Latsies have dropped off. These walkers, the AT-HS, these are equipped with HXM cannons, so they're really good at taking down other walkers and AT-ATs. Speaking of my AT-AT, it is currently very, very slowly walking to the front line, but I'm going to be bringing back my sort of carrier here to pick it up and move it to the front line. In the future, there is going to be the big Gazante airships that are going to be available to pick up the AT-ATs instead of these Latsies, so we'll see them in the future instead. This mod is very much a work in progress, and it is updated very frequently, which is very cool. So always going to be new stuff on the horizon. But today we're playing as the 501st, the Legion Phase 2. And that means we have plenty of clone commandos and just clone troopers. So we've got these guys, they have their DC-15A rifles and the PLX-1, which is a 4,000 meter range, basically HGM equivalent. And it's just really good at taking on armored targets at range. You'll also notice here, I'm bringing up Anakin. Anakin Skywalker is coming in. There he is, running around with his lightsaber. We'll get him to the front line at some point in order to have a go with him. I've got my speeder hanging out here. That's one of my recon units, so that's looking very cool. And we did have allies send some speeders really, really deep into the enemy lines early on. Recusant class hanging about. Look at that, very cool. Up in the sky, they're going to get hit pretty hard by the SBHA, and that just one-bangs that thing. Down it goes. First starship wiped out already in this game. Goes up in a massive fireball. Really, really cool. So that SBHA is like a massive, massive anti-air starship hunter. And these big domes here, these are ion cannons. These have concussion missiles, so what they do is they basically stun enemy starships. So it makes it difficult for the enemy to move their starships like over your spawn early on. They've got to work on breaking these down, and then you have a lot more chance to get value out of these starships. That being said, they're still very strong. Look at that starship, absolutely blasting. Kills some of my 501st clone troopers. Those ones get 2-shot. As those rounds come in from the invisible hand. We got some vulture droids flying around on the right hand side here. That one's going to get knocked out as it flies overhead. But yeah, the invisible hand in the distance currently laying down plenty of fire, wiping out that speeder that he found on the backline. Either way, we're off to a pretty good start as a team. We're getting the +1 due to contesting this sector on the left-hand side. Over here, the AT-ATs are pushing forwards. So these little walkers with their laser cannons on the front. Very cool. They're currently engaging some B2 super battle droids that are moving into the buildings here. Here's one thing that's kind of funny about WARNO is the animations for infantry have always been a bit sussy, but at least the vehicles work really well as the speeder zooms through into position. I'm just trying to get it a bit further up, but we do get spotted by the Viper probe droid. I was wondering how the Starship saw my 501st Phase 2 clones, and it would have been because of that Viper probe droid. So now we know that's there, I can just kind of move the speeder out of the way. And my AT-ATS has been moved to the front line, so that's coming up in support. We are going to be able to pick up these ones as well. These ones are actually quite fast, as you can see. Probably need to slow them down a little bit. But yeah, they can run to the front line pretty quickly, but I am going to be picking up one with my Latzi regardless. Also on the backside here, you'll notice I've brought up some of these AV7s. These are big artillery pieces, and in my deck I have 20 of them. So maybe we'll see all of those. Spoiler alert, we will. And we've also got over here the UTMLAT. This is a big rocket unit. In the previous video that I showed of the Star Wars mod, I was playing on the other side, we were playing on the dark side. This time we're playing the goodies, or the light side, I guess. And yeah, that's why we're able to see the UTMLAT today, because I don't think they get them on the other side. So that's one of the more unique units, because things like the AT-ATs, they look slightly different, but this is like an old one that was part of the old era, and then you can get like new era ones on the enemy side. So you can see here, this is like the new era ones, looking much more shiny. There's also a massive tank droid coming in there. Look at that thing. Moving forwards. Fortunately, they don't have much range. I do feel like they should make them a bit stronger. Anyway, we're going to be meeting our nemesis pretty early on. This is the Separatist super tank prototype. It's a very well-armoured unit. It has a lot of health. 25 health, to be exact, but 22 front armour. It comes with some missiles that it can fire basically indirectly, which is really, really nasty. But currently I'm smashing that one with the AT-HST and also the AT-AT there, to see if we can take it out before it manages to get away. Recusant class coming along, but we do manage to shoot that down thanks to my own SBHA coming in, that Panther. Trying to avoid that as it comes in. I've also got some clone commandos on the way. Clone commandos in this, every time I see a clone commando, it's like, reminds me of the game Republic Commando. I mentioned this multiple times on my stream, but I love that game. It was so fun as a child. I really, really got into it. So seeing the clone commandos in game is really, really cool. Anyway, another recusant going down here. I'll try and stay away from the rockets for the time being, because they are very loud. There's so many of them. Side up full here with the UTMLATs as well, and there's going to be plenty more where that came from. So if you don't like the sound of rockets, I apologise. Not too much I can do about that one. Anyway, my clone commandos are going to be unloading here, but look at what we are up against. It's the Magna Guard. The Magna Guard coming in with their electro staffs, so we're going to want to maintain distance here. My clone commandos going to be getting out of that building and falling back as the Magna Guard come forwards, and we're going to be putting a lot of punishment into them. These melee units do often have quite a lot of like HP or like dodge chance, basically, in order to make them sort of usable, I guess. So that's why it may look like they're taking a ridiculous amount of punishment. Well, they are. It's just so that, you know, you can actually use them in melee, because this game is not really designed around using melee whatsoever. This is why I think something like a Warhammer 40k mod that used a lot of melee would kind of struggle in WARNO, but anything range would be great, right? Of course. But yeah, the melee system would need a little bit of a rework, or you need some way to like close the range quickly or something like that. Especially in 40k, you'd have like jump packs and stuff. I guess it's maybe the same with the clone commandos, you could give them jetpacks. But regardless, I'm trying to make some progress here with the clone commandos, and my clone troopers are going to be engaged by some BX saboteurs. So those are some better droids. But look at the super tank prototypes firing away now. There it is. So this is what I was talking about earlier. Look how quickly this just annihilates my squad. Poor guys just get absolutely juiced. Well, lucky they're clones, isn't it? We can just print some more. But either way, down go the clone commandos as well. Not so easy to replace. Regardless, the artillery battery is starting to get to work, and you can see that there is a second SBHA on the way. Since we'd already seen like a couple of starships pretty early on, I did reinforce my anti-starship capabilities, which is all these terms that I'm using is just never something I thought I would be saying in WARNO, and it is very, very cool. I won't lie, this is probably the most exciting mod that I have played in a long time, and that goes across a lot of games. I mean, there is maybe the Attila mod, the new medieval Attila mod, which is really cool. There's some really good Lord of the Rings mods on Total War, but like Star Wars, this game is perfect for the scale of these Star Wars battles. A good bit of Republic or commandos against Separatist droids. You love to see it. Now, of course, there is mixed in here some later Imperial forces, but we're mostly up against droids, I believe, on our front at least. The B1 battle droids, we've got the HAMLs here with their homing lasers. They're currently absolutely whacking my AT-ATs, unfortunately. I did manage to take one out. I'm trying to take out the second, but the AT-HS gets caught and does end up going down. That laser is the perfect thing to be destroying this AT-AT, so just gotta hope that AT-AT gets there first. These things are 240 points. I'm not sure how much the HAML are. Obviously, you know, balance is a work in progress in any mod like this, because there are so many units. The battle droids there unloading. They're actually firing their wrist rockets. Those wrist rockets, 2,500 meter range, going for the AT-AT there. Now we've got some armored assault tanks coming up from the droids. Unfortunately, that AT-AT dies, but we got another one arriving, and another one will be dropped off shortly. Obviously, it looks a bit silly that they are getting dropped off by these, but yeah, as I mentioned, in the future, they'll be dropped off by Gazantes. So that would be cool as well. But another couple of starships going down. Got an armored air defense platform here. These are probably one of my favorite units on the droids, just because they sound so cool when they fire. They've got these like spinning guns that just absolutely annihilate soft air targets. We have two more starships bite the dust, and the artillery is starting to really get underway here. Look at all of these UTMLATs starting to fire. We got one from Dance with Wolves. We've got actually three with Dance with Wolves, and then the Silent Four over here with his. Their supply is quite abundant in this mod, so you don't often run out of supply, and therefore these rockets just fire forever. There's also a SBHA-M here, which is one of the artillery pieces. So much like the one that is used to target starships, this one is in fact a long-range artillery piece, and this thing has some serious damage. Not sure if we'll see it in action, but let's move over here where we can watch the TX-130s getting to work with those blaster cannons. The sound effects are just absolutely perfect. We've got the Juggernaut here. That's actually carrying, or was carrying, my clone leader, so that I can give some veterancy to my AT-ATs and the surrounding units. I do still have Anakin here as well. He's currently chilling out, waiting for his command, complaining about sand as always. That line is actually in the game. You might hear it at some point. Regardless, just look at this. When you zoom in this game, It's just incredible. I mean, in the distance you can see the turbo lasers. If I zoom out, actually that's just the refineries, but yeah, if I were to put it on neutral perspective, you'd see all the turbo lasers on the backside of the map. Really, really cool. I mean, if I turn around this way, then you can see all those turbo lasers on the back side there. Huge battle occurring here. Two AT-ATs wandering forwards with the Juggernaut on the back. The other thing that's good about this Juggernaut is it carries supply, so it's able to keep my infantry topped up, it's able to keep the health of the AT-ATs topped up, and they can just continue to move forwards on the attack. Here's the Clone Commandos. Look how cool they are. Really, really awesome. In game, they got that lovely, like, sort of blue tint in their helmet, and it looks perfect. So, so cool. B1 battle droids. So these are like your standard droids. They're getting absolutely toasted by the Clone Commandos. So I was trying to zoom in quicker there, but I was getting stopped by that building. Anyway, as soon as they get spotted, absolutely annihilated by the super tank. Those super tanks are very, very strong at the moment. I'm sure they'll be adjusted at some point. But for now, it's just suicidal to run infantry into those. I do have a bunch of Banthas, and you're wondering how I know if it's suicidal or not. Well, you'll find out shortly, as all of these are ready and waiting to get to the front line. We'll line them up and we'll charge them into Kilo here, which is the sector that I'm trying to put pressure on throughout this game. So over on the right hand side, there's a couple of Banthas here. These are probably one of my favourite units in the mod, actually. They're not the prettiest units, but they are very effective at taking down sort of fighters and also like the hovercraft, like the droid gunships here, or the LATs, for example. Over here we have the Octutara. I just absolutely butchered that. Tri-droid. So really cool animation on these. As they walk forwards, they fire, and then they like they twist, and then they fire again, and twist, and then fire again. It's really, really cool. I'll try and show that off to you guys. What's the range on these things? 4,000. Might be able to engage this Clone Commando. So the AT. Here we go. Ooh. Okay, never mind. It just got popped by the AT-HST. That killed the AT-AT as well. That's why it was suffering so badly. Those AT-ATs are really, really strong, but if you have the correct units to fight against them, then you can take them down pretty easily, actually. Like the AT-HST there is one of the better units for it. We saw the HA-MLs doing it earlier as well. We're currently just constantly having to deal with these Separatist super tanks. They are just ridiculously tanky. I mean, they are called a super tank, but they are actually tanky. But here goes the rockets again, blasting into the back. And at some point, what will happen in the game is there will be so many effects flying around that some of these trails will disappear. And that's what happened while we were playing, because that is like 6 rocket launchers just moving from place to place and launching volleys. I'm currently still spreading out some AV7s. You can see that I'm up to like 6 of those now, and those are all trying to get some damage onto those Separatist super tanks, because there's no other way for me to really approach those without just getting absolutely annihilated, because the super tanks are really good against the AT-ATs as well, with those sort of rockets, the indirect rockets that they fire. The 104 Phase 2 clones engaging with their RPS-6, trying to take down the droid gunship there. And down it goes. Very cool. Very cool indeed. And yeah, as the battle goes on, as the battle rages, you'll see more and more wrecks joining the fray. Like, look at this. We could just like look around here, and there's already just burning wrecks of every kind of vehicle you can think of in Star Wars. And I'm gonna be completely honest, there are not many games that go into this much detail when it comes to the amount of Star Wars equipment. Like, the biometric nuke, he's the guy who made the mod. I'll make sure to leave a link in the description if you want to check it out. He's put in so much work. He's like basically solo. He has got permission to use some models to help him out. So that is kind of helping speed up the process. And I imagine as we go on, he's going to be putting more effort into making his own models and adding things where he can't find other people to help and so on. Regardless, he's put in insane work, and you can just see the scale of this battle is just. It's just so Star Wars. This is the stuff that you wish you saw in the movies. I mean, there is a couple of movies which show sort of roughly the scale of these battles, but seriously, it doesn't get much better than this in a game. All these massive SPHAs hanging out. We've got the SPHAT and the SPHAM, and they're just absolutely huge. Rockets firing for days amongst the turbo lasers on the backside. In the middle of the map, the wrecks of the starships. I mean, if I later on change it to the neutral perspective and show you guys without all of the HUD and everything, this game is just, it's absolutely gorgeous. Back here, we've got some of the droids, Hailfire class tanks. Look at those, very cool. They have great animation as well as they wheel around, like the big old wheels turn in there, looking awesome. Another armoured assault tank up here, some Hyena bombers, but they're getting absolutely smashed by the AA. And the T4B there, look at that, firing up into the sky. That's a surface-to-air missile on it. Incredible. Big old tank. I've got some Cobalt Vanguards here. Hoping we'd have a little bit more time to see those. There's a really, really cool units and sort of niche stuff in this game that you just... I mean, I'm not even that aware of, you know. I'm not a huge Star Wars fan, but this just makes me a Star Wars fan. Because if Star Wars was like this all the time, this would be totally my jam. Anyway, Anakin's going for a little walk now. As you can see, he is running deep into the fray, heading up into Kilo. Do not underestimate his power, as he is going to be a leader attempting to capture Kilo. Since we were 200 to 111 on the score, I thought I would try and get us ahead a bit more by pushing the +1 there in Kilo. And meanwhile, landing craft has come in. That's one of the droid landing crafts. Got those big guns on the front. Look at that. Very cool indeed. Comes with supply and can drop off lots of troops all at once. Like in this mod, you can actually sometimes put multiple squads in the same transport. So you can put like 3 or 4, maybe even 5 or 6 in the same transport. And that's really, really cool. Anyway, Anakin having to run away there as the anti-air droid tank starts firing away, the armoured air defence platform. Also the Stinger with its anti-personnel turrets is having to go at Anakin as well. Not really much I'm going to be able to do about that with Anakin. The lightsabers don't do any damage to vehicles, so yeah, the only thing that the lightsabers are really good for is taking out like the droids in this case. Like the battle droids would be a good target for Anakin. And he'd still maybe suffer and take a lot of damage in the process, but can heal him up, so it's all good. It's all good. Oh, we're going to see one of the Beyblades go down amongst the wrecks of the AT-ATs. It would be good if they could maybe slow down the spin a little bit on those things, but at the moment looking really kind of funny. Oh, Gazanti going to be fired at by my Ion. So this is the big craft that's recently been added to the game that can drop off AT-ATs. They are going to be available for the Republic as well at some point, so you can drop in the AT-ATs, but they're not quite in there yet. Maybe in the next update. Regardless, as you can see here, my artillery building up, but getting low on ammo, so we are going to be resupplying them with some of these AT-LTs that come in with a lot of supply, 6,500 supply each. As I mentioned, supply not really a thing you run out of in this game. I mean, I've got a fob here with 25k. We've got these AT-LTs with 6.5k each, and I think I have like 8 of those in deck. There's also Logi boxes you can bring in as well, which have a large amount in them, but they can't move. All very cool. Another T4 moving up here with those blasters, smacking the dwarf spider droid. I just got taken out. Okay. Funny new addition to the game that I hadn't seen before. Rocket artillery still blasting away, and there's another person here, Romper, putting together a lot of these AV7s. So I've got a bunch here, actually splitting them into 3 groups of 3 so that they're not going to get all counter batteried at the same time. Oh, here's a Victory 2 coming in, getting hit very hard by the AA. What I have found with the more people have learned how to play this game, the more that starships really suffer. And that basically did nothing and got shot down, because so many people on our team have bought these SPHAs, and those are just so easily going to shoot down a starship of that size. AT's moving forwards, and we're managing to catch out quite a few of these battle droids. They got dropped off by the platoon attack craft here, which is pretty cool. But yeah, we're just going to be blasting them. Anakin's still kind of hanging out here. You'll notice that the lightsaber range is only like 25 meters, so you have to be literally right on top of the enemy units in order to use him. But he does have a lot of health, so he can sustain a decent amount of fire before he goes down. Unfortunately, the super tanks are very deadly, so he's not going to stand up much against them, which is why I'm apprehensive to push into the sector here. I'm trying to bring up the Juggernaut to fix up Anakin and get him on his way again. But we are going to take a bunch of damage there from a Hailfire class droid, and here comes the super tanks. So this is what I was talking about with those indirect fire rockets. They just do so much damage, and the Juggernaut goes down very quickly. Anakin trying to get out of the way of that as quickly as he can, but there is more coming in, and he's taken very low in health. At least my AT-ATs are having a good time, still firing away. Haven't quite got into range of those super tanks just yet, so able to take out plenty of battle droids. And there's attack craft going down. We also see the explosions around the ion cannon as our team attempt to take those out, and this is where the effects really start to struggle. There is just so many explosions going off at the same time. Look at this, all of these craters being formed. Here comes the super tank there, and well, goodbye Anakin. Yeah, sad times. I'm sure they'll pick him up and make him into a baddie at some point. AV7s are going to be trying their best to smash that area where all of those super tanks were. Meanwhile, on the left-hand side, my ion cannon was actually doing a really good job here. It was putting the pain into the Gazantes anytime they were being brought up. But across the board, things pretty even. This is why this is probably one of the best games that I played in a while, because it was so even for so long. Anyway, Anakin has managed to come back and control Red 5, so here he comes once again. He's in his little fight here, and we're going to be going for the Gazanti. We managed to shoot down the Gazanti with Red 5, and he's going to have to get the hell out of there as we take fire from a Bantha or similar. So he managed to get out. He's going to have to repair for a little while, but cool little engagement there from Anakin. In this deck, I do have some other starships of my own. I've got the Resolute that we'll see later on. There is the Y-Wings available as well. And there's also Headhunters, which are sort of fighters. Very cool. But for me, what I'm trying to do at the moment, get the T1 heavy tanks into position. And these are carrying a bunch of clones. We're going to try and get into the backside of the sector and put some pressure onto those super heavy tanks, but yeah, I wasn't too optimistic about it. I just wanted to see how much punishment these T1 heavies could take as they move forwards. Here it comes. We'll soon find out. Not very much. One volley takes out one of the T1 heavies. A second volley takes out the second, and the third, and the fourth. And there's only one left. And the 4 infantry are struggling to get out. Got an AT-RT here that's like running through the trees. I was just trying to get like proper eyes on these super tanks so that we could kill them off with artillery, but it was just seeming like they were absolutely unstoppable. I think they really just excel in this sort of indirect engagement. The poor T1 here, bumping into so many battle droids. Yeah, they make short work of that unit. Look at that artillery just absolutely rinsing the side of that hill. It actually looks very spectacular. Like, the effects aren't really keeping up with it, but it does look pretty cool. Magnificent. Gonna get hit there really hard. You can see just how much damage those do. And that one now gonna go down as well. Big boom. Nice big shockwave as that hits the ground. Very, very awesome indeed. So now we're up to like 4 AV7s in each section with one of these ATLTs. So we've got like a total of 12, of course. They're firing away. But the big boy has arrived. Look at that in the back. A Lucra Hulk. It's arrived on the field. And this thing is absolutely monstrous. Incredible. So we're going to need some serious AA to shoot that thing down. It has a lot of firepower. You can see at the bottom there, he's got 390 M quad turbo lasers on it, 48 M double turbo lasers, 472 light turbo lasers, and 164 point defense. Well, the SBHA have started to engage, but you can see that it has a lot of health, and it is absolutely annihilating my AT-ATs. This one just got destroyed there, but at least we're managing to force him away for the time being. The Banthers also really trying their best. The thing I love about these Banthers is just the way they sound. And they're really bassy. Like, if you have a good bassy setup for your sound system, you will hear that. It's very, very cool. Alright, meanwhile on this left side, the ATs are continuing to move forwards. More Gazantes are arriving to drop off these walkers. Just non-stop. So there's a big old wall of them starting to put pressure on that side. I'm going to be sending forward some speeders, these recon units, the super fast ones, zooming in. I'm just trying to get eyes on these super tanks so the AT-ATs can engage them, but as you can see at the moment, I'm now too close. So the super tanks are going to be able to absolutely blast those into oblivion. And that AT-AT is going to go down. See, if I can actually get a line of sight on the edge of this hill due to recon, then the AT-ATs can actually fire up there, but at the moment, not having much luck. Silent Fall now got a huge train of these. Look at them all. It's like a solid 9 of them right there, ready to fire away. I don't feel like these are very effective. I feel like they could be more effective. I don't seem to do any damage against any armored targets, at least. Poor infantry in this mod just gets absolutely rinsed. But then again, it's kind of the same in any sort of WARNO game or Steel Division game, Eugen game, I would say. Infantry is always getting annihilated for the greater good. Great gunship there. Currently hanging out. Big old shells landing nearby, probably from one of the SPHAs. Lucra Hulk still hanging out. Let me go ahead and just whip this over to the neutral perspective and we can see everything that's going on. I'll make sure to hide the HUD as well. There we go. Look at that. Absolute insanity, that thing. It's so big. It just dwarfs the battlefield. Absolutely dwarfs it. And you can see on the field there at the bottom, just all of the turbo lasers on each side, and then the big battle commencing in between. This is just absolutely incredible. There's just so much stuff. All the Gazantes landing, dropping off the AT-ATs. We got all of the starships in the distance, including the Lucra Hulk there. Just a massive, massive engagement occurring across the entire front. Huge Republic versus Droid and Imperial battle going on. Sticking back to my point of view so that we actually can see what's happening a bit easier. As I have now brought in a bunch of these Y-Wings. Now these have seismic charges and I didn't actually get a chance to use them. But basically, the idea with these seismic charges is you have to get really, really close to like a starship, and then you can drop the seismic charge onto the starship, and it'll just do so much damage. But Vector here, since his Lucra Hulk got so damaged, he has decided to fall it back. Ideally, in this mod, you would never really fall back starships because they take too long to reload. They take longer to reload than you have time left in the game usually. So you might as well just play with them until they die. But that's what Vector found out this time around. Anyway, more AB7s have joined the fray. I figured that I need even more of them as I start to target the super tanks back here. So these super tanks were out in the open, so since before I couldn't really see the effect I was having on the ones on the hill, I thought what I would do is try and attack the ones in the open and see how much damage I was doing. Well, there's my artillery landing, and as you can see, the damage is very limited. Very limited indeed. I mean, the artillery, when it all lands at once, is very cool to watch. It's the same here. No, these super tanks just shrugging it off. Yeah, probably should have just started targeting other things. Regardless, the battle goes on, and we're just going to be trying to hold our line here at Kilo as I move some units over to the left now to help with the advance of the AT-ATs. They're just building up, so many of them, and they're slowly moving forwards. It's really interesting watching the droids leading the charge for the Imperials here. I'm going to be bringing in gunships as well. These gunships, they have some mass driver missiles, so I was hoping that they would be able to do some damage to the AT-ATs. They've got, I would read you the stats, but they don't really mean much. It's very difficult to give you guys context on how much damage like 2 ult intensity and 1.25 thermal output is. But yeah, either way, they don't actually do much to AT-ATs, as I found out, as we can watch another recruit and go down. It's always cool to watch these starships crash, and the big fireball that comes up with those. Very, very awesome indeed. So here's the gunships. They have lined up, and they're going to be firing away. with those mass drivers once they reload. I found the problem with these is just they fire really, really slow, and it didn't feel like they had the damage to really get through the front of the AT-ATs. The AT-ATs are actually still very well armoured on the side as well, so not going to be much chance there. Anyway, I do have some Phase 2 clones on the way with the PLX-1s, so I was hoping those at least could chip down the AT-ATs if I managed to get them out in time. I do manage to get them out in time, but then they get absolutely slapped around by the heavy blasters there, the MS-1 blasters on the front of those. So the PLX now firing away, and again you might notice that we are lacking a bit of damage there, but I was just kind of bringing those in because they're pretty cheap and they should shore up the line on the left hand side. Another starship going down there as it gets blown out of the sky. Victory 3 also going to be taking a lot of hits from those SPHAs. So many of them. Does manage to fire back at least a little bit, but the starships struggling to find value in this game. I think another reason that you're struggling to find value in this game is because the map's not actually that wide for a 10v10, so the density of AA is a lot higher. You know, Y-Wings coming in with their bombs looking to destroy the AT-ATs, but the AT-ATs, they walk on as the shots come in. Dorito in the distance, AT-AT is walking forwards. It's so darn cool. It really, really is. And the gunships really trying their best to get those mass drivers on target, but just doing absolutely no damage. Venator from Tumpy coming in to try and help out, so getting the turbo lasers on target. Going to be hitting the AT-IC there, which is a good target because it is anti-air. But alas, there's also plenty of anti-air on their side, and that's going to come down straight into those clones and takes out the majority of that poor squad. At least some of these AT-ATs are going down, and my artillery is also falling in this area now. You'll see that I'm using that to try and chip damage these AT-ATs with that artillery. Since I wasn't having any luck against the super tanks here, I just decided to focus elsewhere and bring my artillery over to the left. So they're firing away. I've got another AV-7 on the way to join them. You'll notice that I have moved up the SPHAs quite a bit to help deal with the abundance of starships that our opponents had been using. Anyway, more bombs coming in from Yaxos. The Y-Wings arriving with the proton bombs and blasting the AT-ATs. Many of them have fallen, but there is still more. They're just non-stop at the moment. And it was at this point I thought, you know what, let's try the side armor. So I've got a couple of black gunships going to the left, a couple going to the right. Any that are just walking out the middle here should be taking some sort of side shot. At least that was the theory. Artillery back here, still firing away. All the dead starships in the distance there, look at that. Incredible stuff. Yeah, over on this left side, we're going to need something a bit even heavier. So eventually we're going to be bringing in some ATHS that I had left. TX-130s firing away, sounding very, very cool indeed. Lat's moving up there as well. That one's got decent recon. Going to be engaged by the Bu-2 battle droid there. The wrist rocket's actually able to kill that off. We've got to be a bit careful here because the leader AT-AT is going to start to contest this sector, and it is going to give them the +1, but it does go down very quickly after, as a lot of artillery falls and blows it up. Like, the direct hits do a lot of damage, but just whenever you're hitting around the AT-ATs, they just shrug it off. So it's pretty crazy. So my artillery mass is continuing to build up throughout the game. We've also got rompers here building up as well. My Y-Wings are still hanging out back here. I was just waiting for someone to use another big craft, because I initially bought them out to deal with the Lucra Hulk back. And since the Lucra Hulk left, I just kind of left them there and waited until there was potentially another big ship that I could throw them at, because they are pretty suicidal. Nice kill onto the AT-1C. Artillery still falling here. Another one gets taken out. That one's had the front blown off. Slowly but surely breaking them down. Lambda shuttles on the backside there, looking very cool as they get destroyed. These droid turrets hanging about. There's even more Gazantis arriving. Look at them. Non-stop reinforcements. So now I thought it was time to bring the Resolute to help out here. The starships can do quite a lot of damage to the heavy forces with their heavy turbo lasers. So if I can get it close enough, then we can do some damage with that. So starship on the way. I'm just hoping that enough of the AA on that left side has been broken down, targeted by any, like friendly artillery, or you know, we've wiped out some of the ion guns, that kind of thing. Just hoping and praying. Not always the most sound tactic to hope and pray. Usually you want to do your recon first. Might have been a good idea to send some speeders into the enemy lines to go and see what's up, but alas, we're just gonna YOLO the big boy that we have in this deck, which is the Resolute. So we're looking to take out the AT-AT there. You can see the turbo lasers starting to fire away. Unfortunately for me, our opponent is completely on it, bringing up the Hyena torpedo bombers very, very quickly indeed. We've also got the TIE fighter there that's going to get shot down. The TIE bomber, I should say. The Resolute coming around for more. And Red 5 also coming out now to help us defend against those hyenas. So I was able to shoot down Gazanti with the torpedoes from the Resolute. Or I think it was just maybe it was on the ground because it hasn't actually fired a torpedo yet. Red 5 is ready. Hopefully Anakin can save us from some of these bombers. Unfortunately for us, the bombers have pretty long range, so we have to dive pretty far into the enemy lines in order to shoot those down. Meanwhile, we're getting absolutely slammed by those. As I mentioned before, you might as well use these till death, because otherwise they just take too long to bring back in. Like, the repair time on them is just forever, so you're not going to see them in this game again. I'm just drifting them from left to right, trying to stay out of range of enemy AA, and we are getting some reasonable value out of this, like killing a few units here and there. You can see that we're chipping away at the AT-1C there, which is a good kill. But there comes the SPH, and down it goes. The Resolute is down. Red 5 hanging out, but he has found himself some targets, so we're going to watch him in his little dogfight. Coming around for the TIE Defender. Let me just change this to neutral, hide HUD, and we'll watch him try and engage some enemy craft. Look at that battlefield below. It just gets better and better. Looks like he's heading back to base. That's a lot of wreck. That's a lot of wrecks. A huge, huge battle here. Absolutely massive. It just dwarfs anything you even see in the movies. So many AT-ATs on that side. On this side, so many starships. Bunch of those big turret droid things. Octa droids. Just very, very cool. A huge battle. Lasers and projectiles flying away around on both sides. The Y-Wings coming in there with the bombs, trying to obliterate another of the AT-ATs. There's one's going for that one. Manages to shrug it off for the most part, as they have managed to get back into the sector there. TIE defenders. And now I'm going to be bringing in my own AT-HS. So I finally get these forwards. I had kind of forgotten about them. I'm still getting familiar with all of the units in this mod. But these are perfect for destroying AT-ATs as long as they don't get focused down. So I'm going to try and keep them in the cover and then be able to peek and shoot these AT-ATs with these big double XM cannons. And that should do plenty of damage. So you'll see there, this one starting to engage. Unfortunately, any direct hits are going to do a decent amount of damage. We're also being hit by enemy PLX. But those AT-ATs now taking a lot of damage. And there we go, that one finally taken down. The Y-Wings claiming the kill for that one, but we managed to take out another AT-AT on the backside. We're getting off this one. And it sure would have been nice to have some of these earlier, don't you think? Regardless, we pushed them out once again. And now it's a matter of trying to get some leaders into the enemy sectors because it's really close on score and therefore might be a draw. So we do have to work for it in this one. HAMLs moving forwards with these armoured assault tanks. This side maybe a little less intense. I think this front here with all of the AT-ATs was the most intense area of this map. And then in the center here it was quite intense in the town for a while, but after that it kind of slowed down a bit on this front. Not so many things being thrown out in the open. On my front here, like after the super tanks were just annihilating my stuff, I just focused elsewhere because there was no way I was getting into that tree line with all of those super tanks there. And then on the right side here, they were certainly having a really, really good fight. This is probably like the second most intense area, as we've got the Cobalt Vanguard here hanging out. Look at those. Very cool indeed. And the AT-AT here. I love this. Like, this is the thing that's so cool about this mod. Look at this view right here. Just an AT-AT standing amongst the wrecks of starships, blasting away in a basically never-ending battle. It's absolutely awesome. It's so cool. Let's go ahead and hide that panel again. The AT-HS, we did lose a couple of them, but we have managed to stop the onslaught of the AT-ATs for the time being. AT-LTs moving up to give us some more supply and repair. Especially like these PLX and RPS need resupplying so they can keep providing the extra missiles on target. Alright, so I've got Juggernaut coming in now. The idea here was to try and just, because these are quite fast, just try and run around with the Juggernaut and just avoid the shots coming in from the super tanks, because the super tanks aren't the most accurate if you're on the move. So just going to be zooming around, and the TX is on the right hand side here. Did manage to kill one of them super tanks, so that was nice. I'm just going to be trying to unload the clone leaders in here, and then we're going to carry on with that Juggernaut, because the Juggernaut also acts as a leader. Unfortunately for me, they're going to fire exactly where the Juggernaut was, and those clones get absolutely destroyed. But we're able to get some damage, at least, towards these B1 battle droids. So we take those out. That's nice. Now I'm going to work myself back over to the left side and just continue to try and rack up as much score as possible to put us in the lead. So take out their HAML. The Hailfire class droids here are getting taken out by the TXs. Those B1 battle droids. Yeah, they're not going to last very long in that situation. Regardless, finally my Juggernaut goes down. And yeah, we are going to temporarily decap Kilo. So we went up to almost 300 points, which has put us 100 ahead, which is nice. It's going to take us out of the draw range. You see now all of my artillery. I've got a lot of it now. Almost all of them on the field. I think I was only shy like 2 AV7s here, and those are continuing to try and obliterate the side of that hill. There wasn't really any other decent targets for the time being. I mean, I guess I could have fired them. Had these AT-ATs though on the left-hand side. I guess this would have been a nice target here actually. These armoured assault tanks would have taken a lot of punishment from all of that artillery, but they are currently getting ripped by the AT-TEs, which are slightly different than the ones that I was using. They've got these 4 laser cannons on the front. They've got the MAD-21 on the top, whereas these like AT-HS, they're the ones with like the 2 HXM cannons just like attached to the front of them, which are very cool for taking down these bigger AT-1Cs. So this is like the anti-air, and this is like the standard Walker. So now I'm going to be starting to put some more artillery over on the left in a bit, just into the corner here to make sure they don't get any leaders in there. And I'm going to continue to just try and bring in more leaders to contest this, because that worked out pretty well. Keeping the Juggernaut on the move, and I just figured I could keep doing it over and over and over again, so just going to be running this in. They're not cheap, these, they're like 400 and something points. See, 400 points for the Juggernaut. So having to bring these in over and over to do this was quite expensive, but it's only a couple minutes income in the grand scheme of things. Anyway, artillery landing now on the left hand side, demolishing a lot of that stuff there. The AT-HS taking out one of the AT-1Cs. You see my Y-Wing still hanging about. One cool thing about this mod that I really like is that the fighters and such have quite a lot of fuel. So you can have them up for a very long time, ready and waiting to deal with these starships that might potentially do a lot of damage. Victory just destroying those Banthas very, very easily indeed. Ultra droids coming in. They're looking to take out the headhunters. So these headhunters I was talking about earlier. They do have a couple of torpedoes, but it looks like here that the headhunters have used up all of their ammo. The Vulture droids, though, coming over the AA, are getting absolutely destroyed, and down they go down. They've got the TIE defenders back here. Look at those. Pretty cool. I love the way it like rotated there. Got my own headhunters hanging about back here. Those are slinging torpedoes into the enemy. Try and take them out. Trouble with these energy torpedoes on the fighters, they really don't do much damage, so there is that. Regardless, on the left-hand side, things are relatively clear now, which is nice to see. Unfortunately, my second attempt at putting the Juggernaut in here didn't really end too well. You can see that there's quite a few Juggernauts racking up sort of a bit of a graveyard here. But very, very cool. As at the end of the game here, I will move it to the neutral perspective and we will enjoy the carnage, because I mean, it's lacking. It's something to zoom out. I mean, I have a pretty beastly computer, but just check that out. Just look at that view. Does that not look like an awesome, like, planet scale invasion? It's just insane, especially with the ship going down there in the middle. There's just so many wrecks. Big battlefield with just everything fighting everywhere. It's just incredible. Got the little supply vehicles here blasting away. The fight just goes on and on and on. The Y-Wings flying amongst the victory. I'll move it back to my perspective at the end here, so we can see the kills and losses, but yeah, just absolutely awesome. The victory here, actually surviving quite well this late into the game, especially considering there is quite a lot of AA on the map. My SPHAs in the middle are still very much alive. We've got some Venators coming in from Romper. But there we have it. With 5 seconds left on the clock. What an incredible battle. Just the scale. The scale is just awesome. And there we have it with the victory screen coming up. And in the end for me, 10,415 kills to 8,675 losses. But not really trying to go for like a good gate here or anything. Romper doing a lot better than me. And Bread with the 20,000 kills now, team. Insane. But yeah, the AT-ATs doing really, really well there. And my artillery actually did pretty well. Like, we got a lot of kills with the artillery throughout that game. The Resolute, unfortunately, let me down a little bit. Juggernauts able to help secure the victory for the team. But alas, yeah, what a fun game. Absolutely incredible mod this is. And massive thank you to Biometric Nuke for putting this together, because it has been so fun. I've been playing it every Sunday on my stream, on the WARNO streams. I think I'll be doing it Wednesday a couple of nights. Anyway, regardless, if you want to check out my stream schedule, it will be on my Discord. There is links to all of that stuff in the description, including a link to this mod, which I would definitely recommend checking out, especially if you have WARNO. Why not? All right, that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.